Okay, everybody, we're talking about SmackDown from the 12th of February. We're going to call it the 12th of February. That's what I think the date was. Anyway, that gauntlet matchup was awesome. I mean, what else really is there to say about it? I kept thinking Kofi was going to lose and kept thinking Kofi was going to lose. And I mean, eventually he did, but that was a heck of a showing for Kofi Kingston. And it's funny that I just did, just the other day, I just did a little preview or review of Elimination Chamber from 2012. And Kofi featured pretty heavily in the first match, in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, back when it was over on Raw. That's just kind of funny. It's just a funny coincidence that then now he's back in the same match this year, and it's a bummer because Mustafa Ali is I think an up and comer, and I think somebody who we were all. I mean, everybody who likes new wrestlers anyway. I mean, I don't like new wrestlers exclusively or anything like that, but I do like new guys, right? And I like Mustafa. Again, I thought that giving him I didn't even think it would be all that bad of an idea to just go ahead and give him the title. Not for very long even necessarily, but just let him have it, right? That's how highly I think of Mustafa Ali, I guess. So it's a bummer ultimately that he just won't be in the match, right? Like that's really what it comes down to. It's like he could have been a part of that match and added something to it, and now he just won't be. So, that's kind of a bummer. But he was replaced with Kofi Kingston, and in the 2012 Elimination Chamber, Kofi had a spot where he jumped up over the ropes, and so from the ring jumped over the ropes and clung to the chain link of the Elimination Chamber cage, and then climbed the cage, monkey bar style for a couple rungs, and then did an elbow drop right down onto Dolph Ziggler. He's looking like Spider-Man. I love that stuff. So Kofi's not a bad guy to have in it. He's also a guy who I would love to see have the WWE Championship. I would love to see that. It'd be cool even if for a time Kofi had the WWE Championship, and even though they're not in a program for it right now, if Big E and Xavier had the tag championship, that would be cool. All the not all the belts, but a whole smattering of belts over there with the New Day. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I like the New Day. I don't know. It's just new. It's fresh blood. And it's weird to say fresh blood about a guy who's been in WWE for like 10, 11 years or something at this point. But in this situation, he kind of feels like fresh blood right now to me. How's he feel to you? What do you think about that? Does it just feel samey, or do you kind of get the feeling that does it feel different to you? Because it feels like a different dude. Like they're trying to do something different to me. The match had all kinds of great spots. It ended okay. So AJ Styles eventually got the submission with what's it called, the calf crusher. I think it was a calf crusher on Kofi Kingston, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, I guess AJ's coming in last. Because that's what if you didn't watch, there was a gauntlet match between the 6 men who will be involved in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship this Sunday. And the winner of the match got the right to come into the Elimination Chamber last. Now, that can be a big advantage. So that's really what this is for. So when AJ got the pin on Kofi, the submission, excuse me. When AJ got the submission on Kofi, I'm thinking, okay, I guess AJ's coming in last, right? He's going to be the guy who's doing that. I had forgotten all about Randy Orton, which I think was the plan. The match had been about an hour long at this point, with the bulk of it taking place between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, and that was awesome. That was really good. But so like it's been an hour at this point, and finally Kofi, who is at this point kind of stolen all of our focus, he finally gets injured, or not injured, but submitted. And we all kind of think, or at least I'm thinking, it's over. And I imagine that was the design, and good on them in that sense. But then Randy Orton comes out of nowhere. They play his entrance music. So, like, AJ hasn't forgotten about him. It's just that, I did. And I think a lot of us maybe forgot that he was supposed to be involved in the match, too, at some point in time. So they play his entrance music and everything. AJ's looking around for him, can't find him. RKO out of nowhere, and then a pin. And so Randy Orton will be coming into the Elimination Chamber match last. That'll be Randy Orton. Dangerous. I mean, how shocked would you be if Randy Orton won the WWE Championship? Honestly, how shocked would you be? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be shocked at all, to be like frank, He's a guy who, since he came back from injury, has been kind of tearing his way through SmackDown. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see him win the championship. It also, I think Jeff Hardy is the only guy. I'm going to try and think real hard. We got Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy. That's who's involved. These five, none of them I would be surprised to see win. I just wouldn't. Samoa Joe maybe more than the other five. Or excuse me, Kofi. Probably really honestly Kofi, I think. I would surprise me most out of these five. But the only guy I really don't think has a chance, this one. That's it. That's it. So, Jeff Hardy, he's not going to win the WWE Championship. He's just not. Like maybe 6 months ago, he might have had a claim to having the kind of, I think, heat that you need and kind of support that you need. But not now, right? I mean, he had the drunk driving thing, and they took the United States Championship from him, and then they had like every heel on SmackDown like trying to basically hurt the dude. He's not gonna win it now. So I would like to see him with the United States Championship again, or maybe go over to Raw and challenge for like the Intercontinental Championship, or for Matt to come back and them to be a tag team again for a while. I don't think Jeff Hardy is like done. I love Jeff Hardy. Like Jeff Hardy, I think I was about 10 years old when the Hardy Boys became like a big-ish thing in the WWE, 1997 or so. Maybe it was 98 and I was 11. But like that was like a really like important time for like fandom. You know what I'm saying? Like some of my favorite football players are guys who were popular or played for my favorite team, the Green Bay Packers, then. Like Brett Favre, special place in my heart. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better player, but I don't think I like him better. I just don't. Like I don't know, because Aaron Rodgers wasn't the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers when I was a kid. Like that's why, you know. So Jeff Hardy was a big deal when I was watching wrestling when I was a kid, and so he's like huge to me, right? And so like I don't think he's done. I don't think that they like don't have a use for him or anything. I just he's not going to win the WWE championship. Any of the rest of those guys though, they could. They really could. And I mean, don't be too terribly surprised if they do. So the other thing that happened on the show, and will also kind of lend me to be able to talk about a match that we're going to see at Elimination Chamber. We had Charlotte Flair open the show, bragging about taking Becky Lynch's place, which is, really frustrating. Like truly, it's still really frustrating. And I know that she's going to be in the match at WrestleMania. Becky. I think Charlotte will too, to be honest with you. But I know that Becky is going to be in the match at WrestleMania. But this still is making me just really angry. Because I think it could have been better. I think the whole thing just could have been better. But Charlotte comes out and she's taking shots at Becky and stuff and taking shots at the crowd and she's full on heel at this point. I think this is a lot of what she's doing is what Becky's character was. The way we feel. I assume you feel the way I currently feel about Charlotte is the way I think we were supposed to feel about Becky. Like. Everybody's booing her. Everybody's behind Becky, and everybody's booing Charlotte, and she's kind of going after the crowd a little bit, and she's going after all of our adoration for Becky, and this is what Becky was supposed to be doing to us about Charlotte. Like they just when they saw how we responded to Becky, they were like, okay, we got to run with this. But we had a good heel plan for her. Well, we'll just give that to somebody else. And you know what? Right now it's working. I have a tendency to criticize them for this kind of unoriginal thinking where it's really, really obvious that Charlotte's spots right now were not written for Charlotte. They were written for Becky. Like it's obvious, right? But in this case, I think it's working okay. So like right now, I'm not mad about it. And Becky says that she's going to be sitting front row at the match at Elimination Chamber between Ruby Riott and Ronda Rousey, which I fully expect to be a squash match. I don't even know why we're having it. And in fact, I think Ruby Riott deserves better. Like honestly, I wish right now that Ruby Riott was on SmackDown challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship with Asuka. It's not that I don't think that she could have a good match with Ronda. I just think that the way where everybody's at in the company right now and the way they're doing things, I don't expect them to be weakening Ronda's character at all, especially for the sake of like giving, rise to a character like Ruby Riott. I don't see it. Now, Asuka, on the other hand, if she was on SmackDown, I could see that being a really, really good match, even if Ruby ultimately wasn't destined to win. I could still see that being a very good match just because they're not as worried about they're okay with underpowering Asuka to bring up one of her adversaries a little bit because right now there's nobody on SmackDown who we're interested in seeing fight for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's kind of frustrating if you're an Asuka fan. I've always liked Asuka and have said for a long time. I remember being so mad when Carmella was champion. I just thought it was for too long. Not that it wasn't fun for her to have it for a little bit, because it kind of was in retrospect. Like, I always think heel championship runs are good. They have a danger of lasting too long, I think. And I think hers kind of did a little bit by maybe a month, maybe a pay-per-view too long. And there came a point in time where I was like, man, we have Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka on SmackDown. And the SmackDown Women's Champion is Carmella. Like, what the hell, you know? And so now the only person that you could really see challenging Asuka and having any clout to do so is Carmella. So it kind of makes you wish that somebody like Ember Moon or somebody like Ruby Riott were over on SmackDown, and that Charlotte and Becky were just on Raw. I don't know. I do like the superstars from SmackDown coming to Raw to, stir things up. And I'd like to see the opposite. And Natty tweeted the other day that she wanted to fight Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and I'd love to see that match. Anything, because Asuka is a good person to have the belt, and they're not doing anything with it. We're not seeing anything with it. That belt should be at Elimination Chamber. It doesn't need to be an Elimination Chamber fight, but it should be at Elimination Chamber. I don't know. Women's tag match to determine who'd be coming in first. So who from SmackDown will be in the ring to start the match with Sasha and Bayley. And now I can't even remember who won it or who lost it, which is really the more important thing, is who lost. And I can't remember. I know that the Iconics didn't lose. They barely participated in the match. Excuse me. And it was Naomi and Carmella. I don't know. Either way, I don't really care. I'm excited for the match at Elimination Chamber, but these women's tag matches to determine who would be starting have been less entertaining to me than I would have hoped. I don't know. So I think we're going to see Sasha and Bayley win the tag belts at Elimination Chamber, but it's hard to say for sure because Sasha has been kind of not holding up her end of that partnership of recent. Like, ever since her match with Ronda, she's just not really been going all out for her and Bayley. I don't quite get it. I don't know what they want us to think, because it seems like they're the front runners to actually have that championship, but they don't seem in good shape right now as a team. I'll tell you that. Looking forward to the tag match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship with the Usos and Ms. McMahon. I don't know who I expect to win that, actually. I kind of expect the pairing of Shane McMahon and The Miz to be short. Like, I don't expect that to be a long-running thing. But I kind of expect it to get to WrestleMania. So, and they could lose and lose the championships and still take it to WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong. They totally could. It might be what they ultimately do, just because I think people will expect it a little bit less. But I'm going to say I'm pretty sure that Miz and McMahon are going to retain, and that Shane McMahon's going to have to do a bunch of stuff that we're uncomfortable seeing a 49-year-old man do at this point. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. So yeah, that's my thoughts about SmackDown. That's my thoughts about Elimination Chamber coming up. I'm really excited for the WWE Championship match. I am excited for the women's tag match. I'm excited for the Finn Balor handicap match for the Intercontinental Championship. But I have a feeling that because it's such a weird stipulation, he's not going to win. That's a bummer. But Finn Balor in a match at a pay-per-view, 2 pay-per-views in a row, leading up to WrestleMania. I dig that. So I'm excited for that. I am medium excited for the Ruby Riott Ronda Rousey match. So the Elimination Chamber matches will each probably be like 40 minutes long. So I don't know what that means for the other 3 matches that I know to be involved with the show. And I don't know what else. I still feel like maybe I'm missing something. And maybe I am. Maybe there's something that's like the full information is out and I've just haven't seen it, or I'm having trouble piecing it together. I do most of these videos. I'll write down my reactions to matches and stuff while I'm watching. But I do most of these videos just off the cuff from memory, as I'm sure anybody who watches a YouTube video regularly can tell that there's no editing or production quality that goes into this at all. I just watch wrestling and then I sit in front of the ear and I kind of just talk about what I think about it. So I may be forgetting a match or two. It's kind of a hazard in the way I kind of prefer to do things. I might jump on again tonight and talk about NXT. I might wait and do that tomorrow. And I might make another video talking a little bit more about Elimination Chamber, but I think at this point, the next time I'm going to be talking about the main roster might be after Elimination Chamber. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you're pumped about, what your feelings are about what's going on SmackDown. I feel like the road to WrestleMania on SmackDown is really boring, but the road to Elimination Chamber has been really great over there, and vice versa on Raw. The road to WrestleMania on Raw has been really great, but the road to Elimination Chamber has been boring. So we'll see. All right. I'll see you guys later. My computer won't stop recording.